we can make really tangible difference by supporting sustainable technological development in economically weaker regions. And this has to happen without the expectation of an immediate return on investment.
The nature of the EU itself and its role in norm entrepreneurship and diffusion makes it especially well suited to partner with counterstones of the multilateral system.
Europe is the only global player that can bend technology innovation towards the collective interest. So it needs to keep up with this promise.
How do we rethink the current social contract, balancing between innovation and at the same time minimizing risks?
In the EU, I believe, will play an enormously powerful role in shaping both the perspective on what's feasible as well as the creation of an entirely different kind of platform-driven market.
More than ever now, because of these transnational technologies, it is the role of the European Union the role of the European Union shifts from a regional one to a global one.
There are risks involved in every innovation process, but can we morally accept these risks and how do we respond to them?
The Commission should make sure to put fundamental rights of the users at the heart of the proposal in order to keep the European society free and democratic.
In this rapidly escalating US-China technological confrontation, EU has to ensure its technological sovereignty.
The European Union sees an incentive to develop its own strategic autonomy through the lens of digital sovereignty.
The more anxious states feel about their relative status, the more likely they are to sacrifice certain values like privacy and safety and openness for the sake of competitive advantage.
If, however, the EU gets its act together and acts as a promoter of common good in the global order, it can use its soft power to promote the development of technologies compatible with human rights.
Artificial intelligence has to deal with its own risk and challenges as its transparency, its accountability, and its fairness.
In conclusion, no technology is inherently good or bad. The use we make of it will ultimately mark whether they will have a positive or negative impact on our society.
How to prevent this post-apocalyptic world of disinformation from becoming a reality? For me, through political solutions combined with personal responsibility.
3 important principles: a level playing field so that everyone competes on the same terms, a secure cyberspace, and ensuring the respect of fundamental rights.
If the European Union wants to remain coherent to its standard of human rights and to become an example internationally of human rights defender, then there is still some work to be done.
We've seen time and time again how facial recognition software poorly identifies women and people of color, so diverse perspectives are equally needed in AI research.
AI systems can interfere with human autonomy in various ways. And for one, they can undermine human decision-making through large-scale manipulation and deception.
We need to end the data economy. As long as we allow personal data to be bought and sold, we will have the wrong incentives in place.
The most obvious argument in favor of cooperation is geopolitical. Only together are European states big and strong enough to have an influence on the global developments of AI.
It's not a question of legislation that turns technology into a force for good or otherwise. The technology is just a magnifying glass of values and energy that we bring into our everyday interactions.
Technologies also profoundly challenge our societies by shifting power relations and societal orders.
If the EU wants to position itself as the global leader, then it should also take its place among those rivals in the technical domain.
We need public policy that is also adapted to the 21st century and support policymakers to adopt more agile ways of addressing societal issues. For instance, experimenting first and regulating later.
I think one of the main challenges that technology brings to the world order today is the compartmentalization and segmenting of society into these smaller bubbles.
As a self-described regulatory superpower, the EU should also promote an internet governance model that fully respects human rights.
The role of the European Union can be to facilitate and nurture this diversity by bringing people and resources together.
Information will play a key role. Such is the amount of information lacking in quality, subject to deception, publicity, propaganda, false, satirical, or rumors, that the simple task of keeping us informed now requires conscious dedication.
Science and technology diplomacy can create a new and an important role for Europe and redefine its geopolitical, political, and technological relevance in the international arena.
The problem with automation is that it can automate pillars of society that with consequences that are unforeseen.
I believe on working on ethics, doing my algorithms. So we give this responsibility to the companies. We need regulations.
We need a new digital policy agenda that includes robust interventions in the digital market, fairer redistribution of profits from the data economy.
Surveillance capitalism and the attention economy that at the end of the day, it's not only shaping behaviors, attitudes and addictions, but it's also making decisions on our opportunities of the future.
What I think is still missing from these discussions is a holistic view as to what sustainable digitalization would look like.